This episode of the Grand Rising Show was brought to you by Autochthonous Assembly, where the real work gets done. Autochthonous Assembly is a gathering of the minds that do the work. Now, for many of our first-time subscribers and first-time visitors, you may be wondering who Autochthonous Assembly are. You can find this information about our mission statement and our core values on the website at autochthonousassembly.com/about. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising up Indigenous American voices by using genealogy, also known as family history, or your family tree, which is the study of families and the tracing of their lineages and history. Genealogists use oral interviews, historical records, genetic analysis, and other records to obtain information about a family and to demonstrate kinship and pedigrees of its members. Our core values are the foundation of our company, which is essential to our success and serve as a lens through which we evaluate every business decision. Those core values are, but are not limited to, integrity, which is knowing and doing what is right; respect, which is treating others the way you want to be treated; responsibility, which is embracing opportunities to contribute; and servant leadership, which is serving the common good. Now, at Autochthonous Assembly, we have a couple of goals here. And our first goal and foremost of the reason why we do everything that we do is to ensure that we help you do your genealogy and connect back to your tribe and find out where you are from. Everything that we do from the standpoint of the Grand Rising Show and all the information that's posted on the website is dedicated to that one specific purpose, helping you find your genealogy, find your relatives, find your family so that you will know exactly who you are. And if you choose to, tie back into your tribe, whether that tribe is a Native American tribe, an American Indian tribe, whether it's allowing you to determine which house in Africa that you belong to, or what clan of Scandinavia or Europe or France that you belong to. Either way, our goal is to do just that, help you find out who you are so you know exactly where to start. We are not here to tell you who you are, and we're not here to tell you who you are not. We're just here to help you discover your beginnings. Another one of our missions is to help you become financially independent so that you can help your generations for the next 7 generations and be able to put a stable foundation for you and your relatives. And if you should choose to use this information that we provide free of charge to help not only yourself, but your community and your tribe, then we will do everything in our power to make sure that gets done as well. And remember, our goal here is to make sure that we help you get exposed to this information to put you in the best situation possible. So now what I'm going to do now is return it back over to the panel to see if there was anything I missed, and I will go ahead and get set up so we can get ready and get digging into this information. Panel, take it away.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.
Grand Rising. Grand Rising. Hopefully everyone's doing well this rising.
Peace, everyone. Glad everyone here caught that cab this rising.
Exactly. What's going on, Gabby Gabs?
Stars and quasars.
You know what?
Okay, you said what's going on.
So I see somebody sick in no sellouts places, Raz. Okay, got it. Got it.
We're my double cousins.
I don't know what that dude is. I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. So hopefully everyone's doing well this rising. Give us some ones if you can hear us. Put some ones in the chat. The chat on the website and the chat on the YouTube. Let us know you can hear us. So everybody good? Alright, Liz Robinson, appreciate you, sis. Thank you, Pamela Hall. Okay, so Gabby, when I ask for ones, I don't need them from you.
I thought this was a group participation.
Okay, you're on the panel, so you're going to be able to hear me. You know what? Bounce. Shout out to Carrie Bay. Nah, man. Nah. Thank you, everybody. Is that who I think it is? There him is. What I do know? Yes? Exactly. Grand Rising.
Peace.
Really? That's what we doing?
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, your cousin has been feeling it very nicely. Very nicely. So I want to say Grand Rising and peace. Let me do this. I'm going to share the chat on the screen this rising until it's time for us to cut to the screen for reading. Let me do this. That way everybody can see what we see when we look at the chat. Yep, I'm doing that.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I'm doing. Alright, so I want to say peace and grand rising to the new subscribers. Appreciate you for subscribing. You know, you can subscribe with anybody, and you chose to spend this rising with the cab, calling Aboriginal bloodline. So we definitely appreciate that. I want to say peace and grand rising to the Autochthonous Assembly Silent Majority. So I want to thank y'all for sending all y'all emails and your information that you put on the forum, letting us know what you are doing in your community. So definitely thank you and big shout out for that. And to the best chat on earth. What's going on? How everybody doing? Appreciate y'all keeping us on our toes, making sure we always dropping sources, keeping the chat peaceful, not letting anybody come in with buddy shoes and disrespecting and being crazy. So thank y'all for what y'all do. So that's what's up. So so you want to do the roll call, no sellout, or you want me to do it?
Oh, you got it.
I got it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with the YouTube roll call. Grand Rising Star Strike, Grand Rising Feather Dragon, Grand Rising P. Parker, Grand Rising Angie, Grand Rising Rainstorm, Grand Rising Nature's Void. I see you changed your picture, Gabby. Grand Rising KSR, Grand Rising Night Ether, Grand Rising Johnny Aberhart, Grand Rising Michael Brown Harris Cheek, Grand Rising No Sellout. And that's all we have for that.
It's me.
I know who it is. And if I forgot you, just let me know. Put your name and then say, hey, y'all forgot me. So now I'm going to do the roll call on the website. Haha. Where we at? Alright. Grand Rising Oak Cliff, Grand Rising Pamela Hall, Grand Rising Liz Robinson. Who else we got? Grand Rising Enrique. Grand Rising Gabby Gabs. Grand Rising Nine Ether. Grand Rising Feather Dragon. Grand Rising David Corey. Grand Rising Copper Chopper 803. Grand Rising Nature's Void. Sure we got everybody. Grand Rising Joe 47. So y'all coming up in here. That's what's up. Appreciate y'all.
Oh, Grand Rising to James Gilmore, just logging into the forum. Peace.
Grand Rising Bones. Grand Rising No Sellout. Liz says, how do I add a picture to my profile? If you go to your profile and then you click on the picture, you can upload a picture. But it has to be stored on your device. So if it's not stored on your device, you can't add it. We're going to be doing a tutorial. I'm going to have to get with Bones to find out when we're going to be doing it. So he's going to walk everybody through the website so they can see exactly what they get when they subscribe. Grand Rising EJ Coppertone. Grand Rising Mr. TJ. Grand Rising T Tiny 40044. I think we got everybody. Grand Rising Jafrida Gordon. Grand Rising Power 10 9 Man. Those are and Thomas Anderson. Grand Rising. Those are individuals that are on the website. So that's what's up. So Bones, you want to go ahead and let everybody know what's going on with the website, what upgrades you made and what things are coming, or should I not have said nothing?
No, I mean, we can real quick. Basically, the way it works is on the website, a lot of people are familiar with Kick, Hangout, different social apps. In a sense, the website, it's all that and some, because it allows us to communicate with each other all day long, 24 hours. Not just in the group. You can click on each individual icon and talk back and forth amongst each other. So it's basically a website, genealogy, communications, television, radio, everything we need, media and communications, all wrapped up into one.
And
All right.
So once we get up to like 200 people into the website, that allows us to bring actual calls in. So that's the next upgrade we're trying to bring to the website. To where everybody that's registered in there, we can actually have video calls back and forth.
Right. So once we get 200 people registered to the forum at no cost, meaning this is not going to cost anybody anything. We're not charging people for this. So,
you're not charging?
No, we're not charging anybody for this. So basically, once we get at least 200 to 300 people registered to the forum, which means you have access to everything at no charge, not only will you be able to communicate via text message or instant message, but you'll also be able to communicate through calling. So you'll be able to communicate, you'll be able to talk to each other. So
Merchandise is now available.
And the app will be posted on the website as soon as it is returned. So that way it'll also be an autonomous assembly app. So moving forward, people coming to the website won't have to log in through your browser anymore. It'll be just like your YouTube app. You press the app, open it up. Everything that's available on the website will be available in the app. You can watch the show right from the app.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we doing. So that's pretty much it. So the reason why, yes, KSR, we're not charging. He said, "No, he said, "Well, just playing." and the reason why we're doing this again is because if we're going to be talking about and promoting having our own and being financially independent, that means we need to be independent from social media platforms. That doesn't mean not go on the social media platforms. That means we need to have our own social media platform. We need to have our own website. We need to have our own form of communications. That's the reason why we got the towers. So we're going to be talking about stepping away and being our own financially and independent group of people. Then we have to start somewhere. And this is basically the easiest mechanism to do that with, because anybody can create a web page, anybody can do what's being done. So it's not something that y'all can't do yourselves, but what we're doing is we're creating a platform for y'all to be able to do that, and we're not charging you for it. And it also gives you an opportunity to house all of your information, so we can create a repository, so that in the event that YouTube decides not to give us access to our videos, or Google does not give you access to your chat, all the information that you've had stored, you'll be able to have access to it. So, did I miss anything, Bones?
Yeah, and also when you register to the forum, you also have a profile page. The forum, registering up to the forum also gives you a profile page where you pick your picture, your information. So it's basically like the social media people are used to, but it's our form of it. It doesn't have to have images and messages that show us in a negative light.
Exactly. And again, with the Ain't Television, we're going to be putting people in the best position to create our own content. We don't have everyone or everything in place. So if you got content that you want to create, or you got an idea for a show, or there are things that you do, get with us. We can post it on ATV and have it run it. So it's our program. It's y'all's program, y'all. We can do with it what we want to do with it, and we don't have to worry about anybody telling us what to do with it. So if that makes sense. So Bones, when are we looking at moving towards a website exclusively? Because we're still trying to allow people on YouTube to be able to, still see the stream.
Well, I was thinking finish this week out streaming on both. The next week, probably for 30 minutes, there'll be a premiere playing leading everybody to the website. Because really don't want to postpone it too much longer on YouTube. But what we will do, we will put clips of information shows on YouTube, certain specials. A lot of people are still, it's the main medium that everybody's using.
Right.
So we're leaving YouTube in a sense. It's basically we're going to create the content on our end and put bits and pieces on YouTube instead of streaming directly through them. And they have say so what we can stream, what we can talk about, when we can do it, what we can show. It's just eliminating all that.
Right. That makes sense.
And then look at the leverage business-wise we get. We create this content. We build these networks. That allows us to pick and choose who advertise. It's why I said before I didn't believe in AdSense and allowing YouTube to put whatever ad they want on our channel. Because if we're talking positive to our people, but in between there, they run in subliminal ads that's telling you to do the opposite. I mean, who are you benefiting? And it's not a knock on anybody that do. That's just how I view the situation. Why not give ourselves leverage to where we build our network? Imagine you get a couple of thousand Indians that's exclusively here. Now companies want to come and run ads there. We can sit down and tell them these are the type of ads that we allow here and this is what we're looking for. Then you can take them same finances and disperse them among the communities and everybody come up together. But we have to make a stand somewhere. We have to. We can't keep saying that we want to be self-sufficient or we want our own and we don't put the action in. The mechanisms is here. It is all ours to use. So let's make sure that we use it before they take away the access to even do what we did here.
Exactly. So that's what's up. That's what we doing. Who did I miss? Grand Rising Straight Upright Path, the Nado Wasi. And if I mispronounce it, please correct me. I don't want to be stating anything incorrectly. Because he said Peace Tribe, so peace straight up. Grand Rising, I am Flying Squirrel. So. Alright, so we good. Ready to get this what am I trying to say? I'm not good with multitasking. We're ready to get this information and learning on. Ready to get exposed to more stuff. Everybody got your hard hats on? Make sure you put them on. Because as always, it's going to be fun and interesting. You know how we do. You're going to learn. Hopefully you'll laugh, but most definitely, hopefully you'll learn.
Today.
Alright. So, Grand Rising, Big Hawk. So, let me go ahead and hit this clock. Everybody with a ratchet, go ahead and start handing out equipment. Here we go. Alright. Y'all know what that sound is for. Time to get to work. So everybody in the chat, be mindful and be patient with us, because now we're monitoring 2 chats versus 1. So if we miss your comment, just keep that in mind. We're not ignoring you. David of course says, all I want to know is where the gun line, boss. Really? What does that mean? That must be a movie reference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lie.
Yeah, so David of course said we got 2 hours. Man, y'all be killing me with this time. Alright. So this is what I learned yesterday, because what I learned is not to ask no sellout what he learned. So
I'm going on mute.
why are you running? I'm not gonna ask you.
Look, I'm sitting still. I'm not going anywhere except on mute.
David Corey talking about we'll hire more people. David, Once we get a bigger budget, we'll be able to hire more people. You're gonna be one of the first people we hire.
You're gonna be one, exactly. You're gonna be one of them.
Right now, we all volunteers like the Cherokee from Tennessee. How about that?
Hey, that's what I learned today. But I'm going on.
So this is what I learned yesterday from my exposure dealing with the third day of talking about the Texas Indian Wars. And what it seemed to me was that the Cherokee seemed to be set up as an entity of Indian agents who became a tribe that was created by the government to facilitate all these treaties. That's just my perspective. I could be wrong, but won't be the first nor the last time. So that's my perspective. The Cherokee got double crossed, like all Indians get double crossed. They end up selling out their own brethren, coming down to fight the Natchez and take over the Caddo Islands, the Caddo land, and the who was the other ones? They had the land. I should have wrote that down. You had Caddo land. You had somebody else. It'll come to me in a second. So they end up doing that, and then end up getting double crossed. And ended up getting kicked out of the Republic of Texas after they did all that. So they got double crossed after selling out their own cousins. See? That's what happens when you end up being neutral. You end up getting screwed. And one of the biggest things I learned was the Work Progress Administration got implemented in 1938. And their whole purpose was not only to create these projects, but basically to rewrite history with theater projects, writers projects, music projects, art projects, and they even had a federal historical record survey where they was going around interviewing, and I'm using air quotes, slaves. Go figure that, right? So they're interviewing these slaves, right, to create this history or to recreate this history. Wichita. Thank you, Oak Cliff. See, that's why I love this chat. Y'all be on it. It was Wichita Rainstorm. So thank you. So yeah, this WPA, or this Work Progress Administration, was under the New Deal. And this New Deal had a budget of $4.9 billion. Now think about this. This is in the 30s, 1930s. That's crazy. $4 billion budget, which allowed them to place dams in states, and they were able to hire over 8 million people. Now think about this. They hired over 8 million people. Which people do you think they end up hiring? Because we know who they didn't hire. And you got to realize they was also hiring a lot of these immigrants coming over. Remember, 17 million from 1820 to 1870?
Yep.
And then after that, they disbanded in 1943 as World War II was coming in, and that's when they started drafting people to continue to have a workforce. So I'm just saying, just stuff to take into consideration. Oh yeah. Oh, and after the one thing I forgot is after Cherokee got double crossed, they ended up with what they call the Kilo massacre, where they ended up killing a family, of course, last name Kilo. And they said that this, and it was written that this was the last attack on settlers by Native Americans. So it's the last time Native Americans attacked the settlers. Now, the last time American Indians attacked settlers, but this was the last time American Indians attacked settlers. But American Indians weren't the last one to attack. So the Kilo massacre was the last time that Native Americans attacked settlers. So that's what we learned. And that's what I learned. Anybody on the panel got anything they want to add to that? No? Everybody good? Okay. So what I'm gonna do? Oh yeah, Rainstorm said real roast too. Indentured servants. Okay. Grand Rising Mike Easton. Well, Grand Rising Ohio player. Everybody coming up in here. That's what's up. Good to see y'all. All right. So, no sellout. You ready to read today?
NFL.
What that mean?
Not for long. So, National Football League, which is also the NFL. Not for long. You never heard that before? NFL means not for long. You ain't gonna be there forever. But no, yeah, I got you, but I don't all the way.
So how much time you got? About 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
About 3 stop signs, 4, 5 stop signs, maybe.
This how we break it down.
It ain't about the timing. It ain't about the timing at all. It's just
It's about how many times you get stopped.
how many times I get stopped. I think I got about 3 or 4 stop signs.
Okay, all right. All right, fair
It all
enough.
depends on how heavy the information is, brother.
All right, fair enough. I mean, you know, I can't argue. I mean, I could, but it'd be fruitless. There'd be no point to it. So I got you.
Moot.
Very moot. Very moot. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this link in the chat. Matter of fact, I gotta put it in both chats now. Alright. Let's see if it allows me to do this. Did you do that, Bounce? Put it in the chat.
Nope.
Oh, so it must have did it through Restream. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I'm sorry. He said no. Alright, so it's in the link. The link is in there. Got me logged in as you, bro. Alright. So y'all should be able to see it on the screen. If you can't see it on the website, let me know. Y'all should be able to see my screen. Alright, there we go. So, why David always give me a hard time? Tell me something it's not highlighted. Look, dude. Why? Anyway, David Corey, do me a favor, mute yourself. Anyway, no sellout. You ready to read?
Hey, don't make David Corey call up in here. He gonna call in and mute himself for real. I'm gonna sit on the panel and sit on mute.
That's all right. He can. I mean, this that number at the top for a reason. Anyway, let me stop. We are at the Cherokee War, 1838 to 1839. You see it? What's up?
I'm looking.
Really?
What, man? I thought we was at the top. I forgot. I was a little late.
Well, you know, somebody wasn't here.
1838-39, right? You said.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it.
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I got it. It's right there.
You ready to read?
Oh yeah, I can do that. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. When you ready?
Okay, I'm just saying.
Go ahead, read. Read. Stop playing.
Peace to the chat. Peace to the panel. Where Gabby at? She quiet.
She in here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right here.
Oh, what up? What up, Captain?
Double cousin.
All right, Cherokee Woe, 1838-39. Lamar demanded that the Cherokee, who had been promised title to their land, if they remained neutral during the Texas War of Independence, voluntarily relinquish their lands and all property and move to the Indian Territory of the United States. They had to do all of those things.
Yep.
Houston, who had promised the Cherokee during the Cordova Rebellion that they would be given their promised titles, protested, but in vain.
You go ahead and read the next paragraph.
In May 1839, Lamar's administration learned of a letter in the possession of Manuel Flores, an agent of the Mexican government, exposing plans by officials to enlist the Indians against the Texas settlers. Supported by popular opinion in the Republic, Lamar decided to expel the Cherokee Indians from East Texas. When they refused, he used force to compel their removal.
Stop. Now, isn't it just ironic that they were able to find a letter from the Mexican government exposing plans for officials to enlist the Indians against the Texas settlers, to enlist the help of the Texas settlers removing the Indians from the Republic of Texas? Ain't that just, come on, man, that's just wrong, right? Or is that just me? That just seems dastardly. See, because they had planned to double cross the Indians. They had planned to double cross the Cherokee anyway. I'm just saying. Grand Rising Con Dev. Hope all is well. Thank you for catching the cab this rising. So somebody help me explain. Because, I could be a little slow when it comes to some things. I could be missing some things when it comes to some things. Why is it that these Indians are not understanding that dealing with these colonizers does nothing good for them? And I think the Alabama one understood that because all they had been pretty much taken, and they was forced to move to Texas and fight as the last stronghold. But these Plains Indians and the Melungeons, aka the Cherokee, they just didn't understand, or they just didn't realize how many times they was going to be double crossed. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me. It is what it is. So, Thomas Anderson said, can anybody read this letter? I don't know if the letter is highlighted. It just said there was a letter. So, Thomas Anderson said the Indians spoke Spanish. I mean, some of them probably did. I mean, Ladino is from the Micmac, aka the Miami Indians, and that's where you got Latin from. So it's very possible. So that's just a little, Joe 47 said immigrant shaking my head. So let's move on to the Battle of the Natchez, or Nacogdoches, or the Natchez Indians. So go ahead, let's that out.
Okay. Battle of the Natchez.
Them your peoples.
Is this the Natchez? Okay.
Natchez. Yeah,
On
Natchez.
July, mic check,
Mm-hmm.
12, 1839, the militia sent a peace commission to negotiate for the Indians' removal. The Cherokee reluctantly agreed to sign a treaty of removal that guaranteed them the profit from their crops and the cost of the removal. During the next 48 hours, the Cherokee insisted they would leave peacefully, but refused to sign the treaty because of a clause in the treaty that would require they be escorted out of Texas under armed guard.
Darn.
On July 15, 1839, under orders from the militia, the commissioners told the Indians that the Texans would march on their village immediately and that those willing to leave peacefully should fly a white flag. On July 15 and 16 of 1839, a combined militia force under General K.H. Douglas, Ed Burleson, Albert Sidney Johnston, and David G. Burnett attacked the Cherokees, Delaware, and Shawnee under Cherokee Chief Bowles at the Battle of the Natchez.
Stop. Now that's funny, because think about it. The Cherokee reluctantly agreed to sign. And then they're like, you know what? We not signing because we don't like this clause where we're going to be escorted by gunpoint. I don't know anybody that want to be escorted off some land by gunpoint. And it doesn't say anything about them being transported. Maybe it will in a later chapter, but they're being escorted out of Texas under armed guard. Maybe they're gonna be having guns on them the whole time. Do they escort? I mean, they're gonna be in vehicles or be on a ship. They're gonna have guns on them the whole time because they don't trust them, which is crazy because they were the ones that helped them in the first place with the rebellion. But it goes to show you how these colonizers are. Think about this. The colonizers turn their back on their own family members. What you think they're going to do to you? That's been proven in history. Cousin on cousin, brother on brother. They don't care.
But they know how to swim.
So. The rant says, I met a lady yesterday that said she was kin to the Prince of Natchez, Prince Ibrahim Rahman. That sounds like an imam's name. Interesting. So then it goes on to say that the militia forces under General K.H. Douglas attacked the Cherokees, Delaware, and Shawnee. So that means there were some other tribes under these Cherokee, the Delaware and the Shawnee. Now, here's a question. Maybe somebody out there on either the Hangouts or the website can answer this. What other tribes were under the Cherokee banner at this time that they're not telling you? Because, you know, they like, when I say they, the colonizers, the storytellers, the fabricators, the fans, you know, using the fans, a fake Anglo narrative. What other tribes were up under that, the leadership of Chief Bowles that they're not telling you about? Because I'm sure there were more Indians that went out more than that. Grand Rising Corey R. Appreciate you for catching the cab this rising. So what other Indians were up under that Cherokee banner? I would be interested to find out. David Core says, I know an answer. So, Nosal, are you able to read this last paragraph before it goes on to the next one?
Yes.
All right. Ready when you are, sir.
The Indians attempted to resist at the village, and when that failed, tried to reform, which also failed. Approximately 100 Indians were killed, including Chief Bowles, to only 3 militia. When killed, Chief Bowles was carrying a sword given to him by Sam Houston. After the battle, the Cherokee fled to the Choctaw Nation and northern Mexico, making East Texas virtually free of organized communities of Indians, and their lands guaranteed by treaty were given to American settlers.
Stop. So, think about this again. Charles Clark said the Shawnee were from the Ohio area.
Think about it. You got the Delaware down in Texas.
Well, remember, they came down because they thought they were going to be able to get some of that land. Remember, that was the reason for the whole rebellion.
Yep.
And then they end up getting double-crossed. So, come on, man. Can't trust them. Got to read those contracts. Make sure those contracts are stable. So, at the end of the day, what we're seeing is that they just lie. And then once they lie and get everything in place, they lock everything in place. And then they make sure they have everything protected so that what they did can't be done to them. And that's where we are today. Which means that's the reason why we have to use the means and mechanisms that they use to get back to our independence. So 100 Indians were killed, including Chief Bowles, to only 3 militia. Again, gets back to this: when the colonizers have the winning hand, and when they're killing more than is being killed, then all of a sudden their count and their accounting gets really good and gets really clear, right? They can tell you how many died, they can tell you how many moved, and how many they lost. But the moment they get mollywopped, all of a sudden, don't nobody know who died or what happened to whom, right? I just find it interesting. And it would be apropos that Chief Bowles he died carrying a sword that Sam Houston gave him. And then it says here that they were virtually free of organized communities of Indians. What does that mean, virtually free? Thomas Anderson said Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, and Seminole, I'm guessing, along with the Cherokee. I mean, that's possible. You gotta realize with the Chickasaw and Choctaw had already went north. Some stayed back, but the Chickasaw and Choctaw were some of the first ones to go after the Creek War. So you're looking at the Creek, Chickasaw, and Choctaw had already started going to Oklahoma. So. Corey R says, where should I send a question that's not about this topic, but about the treaty law? You can send that question to autochthonousassembly@gmail.com, and No Sellout can post that in a link when he gets a chance. So, hopefully that helps. So now we're in a situation to where a lot of the tribes are gone. Republic of Texas seems to be where people want to be or supposed to be. And now we're dealing with the next plan or the next phase. So No, so I know you got to be out, so I'm gonna go ahead and read this next part.
Appreciate it.
Mm. So here we go. It says Lamar's success in ethnically cleansing the Cherokee, a I'm sorry, I gotta do this. A neutral tribe from Texas emboldened him to do the same with the Plains tribes. Why did I highlight neutral tribe? Why did I do that? Why do y'all think I did that? Y'all know me and my rants, right? Go ahead.
Neutral get you hurt.
And that's the thing. You know, I had some people talking about we need neutral people. And neutral is dangerous when you're dealing with people. And what I mean by that is I'm talking about neutral as far as your morals and your ethics, right? And this is what I mean by that for those of you who need a little bit of background history. You know, this is my motto. This is the way I feel. I don't deal with scammers. I don't deal with people who fleece the community or consistently take money from the community and then don't offer them a product or service. I don't deal with people who are all about getting paid from the community and then want to go into some new scheme to continue to get paid from the community. That's not what I'm about. So I don't deal with scammers. Point blank in discussion. I don't care who it is. Now, what I will say about that is if you end up scamming or inadvertently scam and then you want to change course and do the right thing, then there's a course of action that needs to take place. You know, repent, ask for forgiveness, go on record, say that you scammed and you're not going to do it again, yada, yada, yada. Because everybody deserves a second chance. I don't have a problem with those people. People that I have a problem with are the ones that continue to scam, that act like they're not scamming and then want to continue to do it. But the most dangerous people are the neutral people, like these Cherokee Indians were. So why are they dangerous? When you're neutral, you have access to people that the scammers would not normally have access to. I'm going to say it again. When you're neutral, you as a neutral person or a neutral group have access to people that the scammers would not normally have access to. So the moment that you introduce those people to those scammers, you, by default, are a scammer. Because if it wasn't for you, they would not have known those scammers. I'm going to say it again. If it wasn't for you, they would have not have known those scammers. And neutral means just that. You know that the person's a scammer, and you're going to allow them to scam the people that you know, and then you're going to claim to not know anything, which makes you worse than a scammer. So my mentality has always been, and will always be, I don't deal with scammers. I don't trust them. I don't deal with neutral people. I don't trust them, because if someone's planning on hurting me and my family or my relatives, you're going to let that happen because you're neutral. And then what happens to neutral people? The same thing that ends up happening to the Cherokee. You end up getting screwed because you're neutral. If you're not going to be on the side of right, and the only thing you're going to do is be on the side of right now, you deserve worse than any scammer gets. Because if it wasn't for you, they wouldn't have had access to those people. That's all I got to say about that. So, let's move on. It says Lamar's success is ethnically cleansing the Cherokee, a neutral tribe from Texas, emboldened him to do the same thing with the Plains tribes. Lamar needed an army to carry out his Indian policies, and he set out to build one at great cost. But at independence, the best estimates were that the Republic had 30,000 Anglo-Americans and Hispanic residents. The Cherokee had less than 2,000 tribesmen in Texas, so removal of them was not a terrible drain on the Republic, especially since the Cherokee War was relatively brief and bloodless for Texans, though certainly not for the Cherokee. See what being neutral gets you. So y'all keep going out there and being neutral. See what happens to you. Being neutral and knowing people doing something they ain't got no business. When your door get kicked in, neutrality is not going to save you. Ask those people on the BIE list for being neutral. So, let's move on. It says the Comanche and Kiowa, however, had in 1830s a population estimated between 20 and 30,000. That's a lot of people, right? They were well supplied with high quality firearms and a large surplus of horses. In addition, by the 1830s, the Comanche had established a large network of Indian allies and a vast trading network. Interesting. The Republic had a militia, but no standing army, and its tiny navy had been greatly decreased during Houston's presidency. Lamar had neither the manpower nor the money to pursue his policy after the Cherokee War, but was not deterred. So, the Cherokee War was easy for them to dismantle because they only had 2,000 Cherokee and they had a population of 30,000 Anglo-Americans. You figure out of that population of Anglo-Americans, maybe 5,000 of them were soldiers that were ready to fight. Everybody else was women and children. And they were trying to get rid of the Comanche that had 20 to 30,000. So that was going to be a bit of a task for for Lamar, who is in charge, who was basically the leader of the Republic of Texas, which, by the way, is not a state in the United States at this particular time. So it is still neutral. That's the reason why there's fighting for this land. So let me continue. Lamar's 2-year term was marked by escalating violence between the Comanche and the colonists. Wonder why? There were not enough Rangers to battle the Comanche at Palo Duro Canyon, for instance, where they could catch them during winter. There were not enough Rangers to battle the Comanche at Palo Duro Canyon, for instance, where they could catch them during the winter. Okay, so those Comanche were at Palo Duro Canyon, but there were not enough Rangers to catch them, I guess, because they were outnumbered. Got it. At the end of 1839, however, some of the Comanche peace chiefs of the Pennateca Band had come to believe that they could not drive the colonists completely from their homes as the tribe had the Apache. Let me reread this. It says, at the end of 1839, however, some of the Comanche peace chiefs, who were chiefs of the Pennateca Band, had come to believe that they could not drive the colonists completely from their homes, as the tribe had the Apache. Cheyenne and Arapaho attacks along the northern border of Comanche territory, coupled with huge losses in 2 preceding generations and several smallpox epidemics, had the Pennateca peace chiefs convinced a treaty might be in their best interest. Okay, now that makes sense. So the Apache, the Cheyenne, and the Arapaho were attacking the the Comanche. So they were fighting 2 battles on 2 different fronts. That's the reason why they had to felt like a peace treaty would be in their best interest, because they was getting attacked by other tribes. Got it. Grand Rising, Carrie Bay. All right. So moving on. Where we at? They kill me with these smallpox epidemics.
Every time, it seems like that's what they use when they don't got nothing else. Default answer, smallpox.
Exactly. So, additionally, they, being the Comanche, now realize the huge importance that captive Texans held by the Comanches had in the Texan had in the Texan imagination. Thus, they reasoned great concessions could be gained from the Texans. Consequently, the Comanche offered to meet with the Texans in an effort to negotiate peace in return for a recognized boundary between the Republic and the Comanchetta and the return of the hostages. Okay, so these Comanche had hostages, and they were going to use these hostages to negotiate the new border between the Comanchetta and the Republic of Texas. How y'all think that's gonna work out? Y'all tell me how I think that's gonna work out. Just wonder. Anybody? You think it's gonna work out good?
Can you explain to me why it says had in the Texan imagination?
Let me go back. Okay, so it says additionally, they now realize the huge importance the captive Texans held by the Comanches had in the Texans' imagination. So I can only surmise, based off the context of what this is written in, the Texas imagination from the standpoint of the Comanche have had these people hostage for a while. So they're probably thinking, meaning the Texans are probably thinking these people are probably dead, or there's some severe harm to come to them. So the Comanche are probably thinking, well, if we let them know that we have these hostages and they're okay, they're more willing to negotiate with us because they're not dead. You can't negotiate if you got dead hostages.
Oh, okay.
That's the only way that I could view it, because that does seem to be a strange place to put that sentence. So they were using those hostages who were alive to get a defined border. Remember, the Comanche were nomads. They didn't have a defined border. They just roamed the plains. So now they're looking at maybe having borders, because once they leave and go somewhere else, they come back. Somebody got their spot. So let's keep going. So then it goes on to read the most notable Penateka war chief. Woo! Pasanak Wahipo. Say that 3 times fast. Or Buffalo Hump. He disagreed with this decision and did not trust Lamar or the representatives. Sounds like a smart chief. None of the other 11 bands of the Comanche were involved in the peace talks at all. Wait, stop. What happened about the part where there's wisdom in council? And you should not take up your own counsel when making great decisions. So there were 11 bands. Oh yeah, that's right, never mind. These tribes are patrilineal. They don't believe in councils. They don't believe in consulting their wise people and their elders. They just make their decisions right off the cuff. So never mind.
Oh, real quick, I just posted the link in both chats on all the federally and state recognized tribes.
Okay.
You can have that to have a better idea on how many out there, who's recognized in the state and federal, and it's also on the website. Okay,
cool. So hopefully y'all heard that. There's a link in both chats about all the federal and all the state recognized tribes. That way we don't have to guess. You know how we do. Proof is not a problem over here. So now you don't have to guess how many tribes there are. Now you know. Thanks, Bones. Appreciate you. All right, what was that? So yeah, we was talking about the these Plains Indians being patrilineal, meaning they just ran by men, and they have no women elders. They just make their own decisions. So none of the 11 bands of the Comanche were involved in the peace talks at all. So somebody took it upon themselves to talk on behalf of all 11 bands. Personally, that chief should have been beheaded, but that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, the decision of the peace chiefs from one band of the Comanche to negotiate, as well as the offer to returning of the hostage, appears to have convinced Lamar that the Comanche tribe was ready to surrender the hostages. However, the majority of past negotiations concerning the return of hostages were never honored by the Comanche. Ooh, that's not good. So they have a history of not doing what they say. Sounds like a scammer to me. Anyway. Oh, Pamela, the Comanche had the hostages. So hopefully that answers the question. Pamela always asking who had the hostages. Rainstorm said the Apache never come up. Why? When you say they never come up, you mean they never come up on the list, or they very rarely come up in history? Anyway, while I'm waiting for y'all responses, I'll continue to read. So, it says, the majority of past negotiations concerning the return of hostages were never honored by the Comanche, who obtained concessions but didn't return the hostages or dragged out indefinitely the return of them. Wow. Sound like the Indians had some scammers on their side too. But like, nah, for real. So if y'all give us this, we're gonna give you back the hostages. Yeah, okay, so we can't give you back the hostages now, but for real. If you give us if you give us what we want this time, we'll give you the hostages. No, for real. If you give us what we want this time, we'll give you the hostages. To me, sounds like a bunch of powwows that was supposed to happen and never happened. Anyway. Comanche, okay, so
Hey.
what's up? What you got? Go ahead.
Nothing. My thoughts just caught up with me.
They just caught up with you.
I
Get
was
it.
listening to what you were saying, and I was about to ask a question, and then I understood the answer, and I said, never mind.
Okay. Yeah, the disease, Pamela Hall, is called, we're going to say they were removed by smallpox, but we're not going to give you a number, and we're just going to say they just disappeared. That's all. So yeah, whenever they need to decimate a group of people, they say smallpox took them out.
Oh, excuse me, y'all.
Or just like when they need to explain a massive amount of melanated people in an area, they just say they were Africans. But they never tell you the ship that they came off of.
Yeah, it's either that or that funny cough. That.
Mm-hmm. So. Okay, so now it either has the link to the treaty with the Comanche, Kiowa, and Apache. It was signed July 27, 1853. That was my birthday. Not the 1853, but July 27th. I'm gonna go ahead and click that link. What'd you say?
You sure?
Am I sure what?
1853, you sure?
Stop it.
I mean, that's before 92.
The sellout, his cousin. I'm chronologically gifted, but I ain't that chronologically gifted. So, because of the Comanches' past transgressions and scamming and not doing what they said or delivering on a promise, The Secretary of War issued instructions which make clear that Lamar expected the Comanche to act in good faith in returning the hostages and to yield to his threats of force. To that end, Lamar's Secretary of War, whose name was Albert Sidney, dyslexia, my bad. Albert Sidney Johnston sent militia to San Antonio with explicit instructions. Johnston, who was the Secretary of War, wrote Lieutenant Colonel William S. Fisher, commanding the 1st Regiment of Infantry, to, should the Comanche come in without bringing with them the prisoners, as it is understood that they have agreed to, you will detain them. Some of their number will be dispatched. And messengers to the tribe to inform them that those detained will be held as hostages until the prisoners were delivered up. Then the hostages will be released. So they like, you know what? We gonna make sure we get this prisoners. If we don't get no prisoners this time, we gonna make you a prisoner. So then it goes on to read 33 Pinataka chiefs and warriors, accompanied by 32 other Comanches, virtually of all whom were family members of retainers, arrived in San Antonio on March 19, 1840. None of the bands except the Pinateka arrived at the meeting. However, they were the preeminent band and understood to be the primary leaders of the nation, and were expected to hold the ability of rounding up the hostages. When the Comanche representatives arrived at San Antonio in March 1840, following instructions from the Lamar administration, commissioners of the Texas government demanded the return of all captives held by Pinateka. In addition, Texas officials insisted that the Comanches abandon Central Texas, cease interfering with the Texan settlers, cease conspiring with Mexicans, and avoid all white settlements. Oh, they came with the heat. Go ahead.
So, so is what I'm hearing is that I'm hearing Native, I'm hearing Texans, I'm hearing but these are all different tribes, right?
Okay, so what you're hearing is you have the Republic of Texas, which was once part of Mexico, which is now an independent sovereign nation, which is the reason why the Comanche and the settlers, I mean not the Comanche, but the Cherokee and the settlers wanted to battle the Natchez and the Washita because that land, basically that part of Texas was Caddo and Washita land. So when they say Mexican natives, they're talking about tribes from the south.
Okay, and when they're saying Texans,
they're talking about settlers.
Just settlers?
Well, yeah, they have to be settlers because they can't be Americans because Republic of Texas is not an American colony. It's an independent state. So now unless the government made situations or put situations in place or laws in place to where those Indians will become Texas citizens, then that's possible. But I don't see anything to that statement yet, unless we get to the treaty that Nine Ether put in the back check. Not Nine Ether, but who was that? Yeah, Nine Ether. So I'm sorry. Go ahead with your question.
Okay. I'll pull the. It just sounds like I'm hearing tribe against tribe, but like.
You are, but it's more like tribe. See, because at the beginning of this chapter, it talked about how the majority of the Indians in the Republic of Texas, virtually all the organized Indians have been removed. So if there are Indians, they're just Indians that are not part of a tribe.
Okay, so it's okay.
I mean, does that help or no?
I mean, it does, but it's still okay. In my mind, the way I'm hearing it and the way I'm reading it along with you, it's like I'm hearing, okay, tribe, Indian, and then I'm hearing Texan, but the way it's describing Texans that are trying to negotiate and try to settle it, it sounds like I'm hearing tribes that are part of what's being referred to as Texans.
Well, you got to look at it this way. You remember they said they had anywhere between 20, they had 30,000 Anglo immigrants that came to the Republic of Texas. So some of them were part of the militia. So,
Okay.
if anything, that militia will be part of the military that's going to be negotiated. Because when I go back up and read, hold on for a second. Go back up and read. Because it says, I'm highlighting, it says, to the end, Lamar's Secretary of War, Albert Sidney Johnston, sent militia to San Antonio. So the militia would be the military plus those volunteer men that was part of those Anglo immigrants that decided to help fight. And sometimes those militia were also Indians. But they would normally be called volunteers.
That makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a lot of overlay with this information. Hold on, give me a second.
All right, I'm back. Thank you. So yeah, the Lectio Difficilior, the overlay, the multiple meanings, the multiple stories, layer stories, we have to take all that into consideration. That's why timelines are important, understanding who's in control, looking at things for what they are, and things of that nature. Welcome back, Joe 47. Hopefully it wasn't too cold. So, yeah. So hopefully that helps. All right. And then too, when we look at the council house slaughter, one of the first things that I read, that's probably the first thing I should have read when you asked the question, it says 33 Pennateca chiefs and warriors, who were accompanied by 32 other Comanches, virtually all of whom were family members or retainers, arrived in San Antonio on March 19, 1840. None of the bands except the Pennateca arrived at the meeting. However, they were the preeminent band and understood to be the primary leaders of the nation and were expected to hold the ability of rounding up the hostages. When the Comanche representatives arrived in San Antonio in March 1840, following instructions from the Lamar administration, commissioners of the Texas government demanded that the return of all captives be held by Pennateca. In addition, Texas officials insisted that the Comanche abandon Central Texas, cease interfering with Texan settlers. Now remember, those settlers are those 20,000 people that immigrated to Texas from they either came from the United States or they were some of the ones that came from Ireland and Germany. And then they wanted them to cease conspiring with the Mexicans. Now remember, Mexico is right below Texas. Now you got some of the Mexicans that are citizens, and you got some of the Mexicans that are actual Indians. And they wanted them to avoid all white settlements. So basically they were banishing the Comanche.
Okay.
Then it goes on to read, the prominent Pennateca peace chief and medicine man, Mukmuru, or spirit talker, was in charge of the delegation. So let's see who Mukmuru is. And let me see if I got to log back in as I send it to YouTube. Hold on. Let's see if this is right. Had the nerve to give me a deck on. Alright, I'll send it later. So, let me go ahead and read. Condev says sometimes there were Mexicans that. Okay, hold on. Condev says sometimes there were Mexicans that sided with the Republic also. He says, and also Russians. Okay, I can see that. So, Buck Woodrow, aka Spirit Talker, was a 19th century Pennateca Comanche chief and medicine man in central Texas. His nephews were the two cousins Buffalo Hump and Yellow Wolf. Both were important Pennateca war chiefs during the decades 1840 through 1850. And it says, an important leader since the beginning of the 1820s. In 1838, he went to Houston, where he, Ahmad Osman, Old Owl, and Buffalo Hump met President Sam Houston and signed with him a treaty. His village along with San Saba River was attacked in February 1839 by a detachment of Texas Rangers and their Tonkawa and Lipan auxiliaries led by Colonel John H. Moore. Most of the casualties were women and children. Mukwaru was a Comanche chief who was chosen to represent the Pennateca and Comanche in 1840. They had agreed to gather in San Antonio, Texas, to try to make peace with the Texans. However, he was killed during the meeting in the council house fight. And y'all know who the Texas Rangers are, right? The Indians.
I was about to say, aren't they the Indians?
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. Tell you what I learned yesterday.
Yeah, Condev, we basically trying to do a timeline and just do the history based off of the time period. So you just happen to catch us when we're in the Texas history. We recently just left Georgia and Miami. So now we're moving west to Texas. So glad you was able to catch it. Ohio player says it's snowing in Ohio. So now I'm back on the Wikipedia page that reads about the Texas Indian Wars. Now y'all also have to remember the Mexican Wars are going on simultaneously. And the Mexican Wars are from 1838 to 1924. So that's nothing more than the Indian War. No, Joe 47. Chuck Norris wasn't a real Texas Ranger. Yep, Oak Cliff Lone Ranger was an Indian.
I learned what Tonto means.
What does Tonto mean?
Idiot.
You call me an idiot?
No. No, I was doing some reading, and you know how they had what's that TV show? I forget what it's called, but it had Tonto in it. I found out that Tonto means idiot.
Well, in the TV show, they said it meant friend, right?
Nope. It literally means idiot. Or it's like idiot, dumb, like stupid. It
Right.
means
Yeah. Gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah, but that's what happens when you listen to what people say and don't do the research yourself. Because I never thought to look it up. Because I took what they said at face value. Stupid me. Alright, so where we at? Alright, it says the Comanche chiefs at the meeting had brought along one white captive. I'm sorry. So they did bring at least one with them. These Indians are a trip. They brought one white captive and several Mexican children who had been captured separately. Oh gosh. This is funny. It says the Comanche chiefs at the meeting have brought along one white captive and several Mexican children who had been captured separately. The white captive was Matilda Lockhart, a 16-year-old girl who had been held prisoner for over a year and a half. Wow. Mary Maverick, who helped care for the girl, wrote almost 60 years after the event that Matilda Lockhart had been beaten and raped and had suffered burns on her body, allegedly. Hold on. Y'all see how that worked?
Oh, I read about her. Supposedly they tattooed her face and everything.
Okay, but hold on. I gotta highlight this. It says Mary Maverick, okay, who helped care for the girl. So this will be first-hand information, right?
Yeah.
Because she helped care for the girl. Wrote, now, almost 60 years later, 60 years after the event, this woman writes that Matilda Lockhart had been beaten and raped and had suffered burns to her body. And it says allegedly her face was severely disfigured with her nose entirely burned away, a detail which has been commonly included in Texas history descriptions of the incident since the 1890s. Reports of abuse are, however, conspicuously missing in primary documents authored by eyewitnesses immediately after the event. See what I'm saying? See how they do? Come on, man. Their own history can't be trusted. This woman waits 60 years after the event and then writes that she was beaten and raped and severely burned, but there was no confirmation when it came to the initial documentation. It says it's conspicuously missing. Right, if the little girl was disfigured and beaten that bad, why would that not be in the primary documents? It says neither Colonel Hugh McLeod mentioned any abuse in his reports on March 20th, 1840, commenting on the intelligence of the girl, but nothing like a missing nose. Come on, man. I mean, don't you think? I mean, you can't miss that. If the nose is missing, wouldn't you see that? Or is that just me? Or am I missing something? Maybe I'm a little slow. Maybe. Okay. Never mind. Man, y'all gonna keep telling me, stop telling me I sound like people. Oak Cliff says, how we know she ain't suffering from dementia? I mean, 60 years after the fact. I mean, you might be right. Okay, then it goes on to say, it says, nor any other Texas officials at the time, nor Matilda Lockhart's own sister-in-law who was in San Antonio. In a letter written to her own mother shortly after the release, Anderson writes, while published in the 1890s, this description has been used by historians to claim that the massacre came about as a result of justifiable rage of Texas men. Rage of Texas men. Yet none of the Texas officials claimed this to be the case at the time. Evidence of abuse is conspicuously missing in the primary documents. Maverick may have exaggerated Lockhart's condition because of the growing criticism of Texas in the American and European press. The most significant source of Matilda's condition is a brief statement made in a letter by her sister-in-law, Catherine Lockhart, who was in San Antonio. Catherine describes Matilda's release but says nothing of abuse. Asked about the more than a dozen abducted whites expected to be available for release, Matilda informed the Texans that she knew only about a Mrs. Webster and her 2 children, who, unknown to her, had just made their escape, and that the Comanche chiefs had decided to ransom them. The Texans believed this was against the conditions for the negotiations, which they believed started that all. Hold on. The Texans believed this was against the conditions for the negotiations, which they believe stated that all abducted whites had to be released before the council. The Comanche, of course, had a different view, since the chiefs and bands not in attendance were under no obligation to release anyone, as they had never agreed to anything. Charles, you stupid. Charles says, was it a Negro nose? That might be the why I was missing. I can't with y'all. Y'all crazy.
You know.
Oh, Cliff says, is this the part of the history where they're putting those pros in loony hospitals? No, they're putting the Indians in the Indian women in loony hospitals to gain access to the land after they married them. Let's see where we at. It says the talks were held at the council house, a one-story stone building adjoining the jail on the corner of Main Plaza and Calabasa, Market Street. During the council, the Comanche warriors sat on the floor, as was their custom, while the Texans sat on chairs on a platform facing them. Lockhart had informed them that she had seen 15 other prisoners at the Comanche's principal camp several days before. She maintained that the Indians had wanted to see how high a price they could get for her, and that they then planned to bring in the remaining captives at one at a time. The Texans demanded to know where the other captives were. The Pennateca spokesman, Chief Mugarawa, responded that the other prisoners were held by differing bands of Comanche. He assured the Texans that he felt the other captives would be able to be ransomed, but it would be in exchange for a great deal of supplies, including ammunition and blankets. There they go, them blankets. He then finished his speech with a comment. How do you like that answer? Y'all can't tell me this ain't no Negro. I know they say you're Plain City, but come on, man. How you like that answer? Am I the only one that finds that funny? Okay. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. The Texan militia entered the courtroom and positioned themselves at intervals on the walls. When the Comanches would not or could not promise to return all captives immediately, the Texas officials said the chiefs would be held hostage until the white captives were released. Now, here's a... Go ahead.
What? All this reverse kidnapping and whatnot?
I mean...
Now you know why they call it Wild Wild West.
Yeebers. I'm just saying though. Look, dude. I have no idea, and I can't begin to tell you. But what I do know, is that this is a good story. I don't know how true it is, but it's a good story. Pamela Hall says, sounds like BS to me. Made for TV movie. That's why we gotta have the Indians confirm this, or other nations that were involved in this. Because that I don't mean no harm, but these colonizers, they don't do too good with telling the truth. It says the interpreter warned the Texan officials that if he delivered that message, the Comanches would attempt to escape by fighting. He was instructed to relay the warning and left the room as soon as he finished translating. After learning that they were being held hostage, the Comanches attempted to fight their way out of the room using arrows and knives. The Texan soldiers opened fire at point-blank range, killing both Indians and whites. Hold on. Gotta get the dough. So the Texas soldiers opened fire at point-blank range, killing both Indians and whites. The Comanche women and children waiting outdoors began firing their arrows after hearing the commotion inside. Think about this, man. You got the women and children with arrows. They ain't playing. Everybody got arrows. Pew, 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 pew.
Right here looking like porcupines for real.
I look like Pinhead. Oh. Okay. Makes for great TV. So where we at? Okay, it says, the Comanche women and children waiting outdoors began firing their arrows after hearing the commotion inside. At least one Texan spectator was killed. When a small number of warriors managed to leave the council house, all the Comanche began to flee. The soldiers who followed again opened fire, killing and wounding both Comanche and Texans. Thomas Anderson says, were the Texas Rangers really American Aboriginals? He said, this white lady told me her great uncle was a ranger. Gotta look into it. Yes, Thomas Anderson, the Texas Rangers were American Indians. Some of them ended up being the Buffalo Soldiers. The Buffalo Soldiers were Seminoles. Let's see where we at. Oh yeah, okay. It says, armed citizens joined the battle, but claiming they could not always differentiate between warriors and women and children since all the Comanche were fighting. Shot at all the Comanche, since all the Comanche were fighting, shot at all the Comanche, according to the Anderson. Such confusion between Native American men and women was convenient to the Texans, who used it as an excuse to kill women and children. According to a report by Colonel Hugh McLeod, written March 20 of 1840, of the 65 members of the Comanches party, 35 were killed, 30 adult males, 3 women, and 2 children. 29 were taken prisoners, 27 women and children, and 2 old men, and 1 departed unobserved, described as a renegade Mexican. 7 Texans died, including a judge, a sheriff, and an army lieutenant with 10 more wounded. Again, when the numbers are in their favor, they can be very accurate. When the numbers are not in their favor, they have no idea what they're talking about.
So this was a war or a battle within a town?
They call it a council house fight. Because,
so in a building?
Yeah, supposedly. Okay. In the building, and then it would let outside of the building. After the Indians were trying to flee. If you really look at it, right?
It sounds like a setup.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It sounds like the Indians were leaving, and then they opened fire on them as their back would turn. Because think about it, if you're used to fighting, you're not going to flee with your back turned. You're going to let the women and children flee, and then you're going to face the people coming out the door so you can give them cover fire. Everybody's not going to be running out with their back to the door as army, as the Texas Rangers are firing. That doesn't make any sense. That goes against any military tactic. Anybody that knows anything about cover fire, though, that's stupid. I'm just saying.
So when they're saying they couldn't differentiate between women and children and men, okay. All right.
Because they had to explain why there were women and children dead. So the story is that everybody was opening fire, so they couldn't tell because of all the commotion.
So they were saying because of all the commotion they couldn't see?
They couldn't differentiate. And they said it was a convenient excuse. They said it was a good one. It says armed citizens joined the battle, but claiming they could not always differentiate between warriors and women and children, since all Comanche were fighting. And they shot at all the Comanche. It says, according to Anderson, such confusion between Native American men and women was convenient to the Texans, who used it as an excuse to kill women and children. So they're saying, so somebody asked, think about it, somebody's got to report this. Why are women and children dying? Well, the reason why women and children are dying is because there was a confusion. Everybody was firing at everybody, and I didn't know who. I just took aim at the outfit. I didn't pay attention whether it was a man or a woman. That's the excuse they use.
So it sounds like they called this meeting with the intent of whoever came inside this building, even if they made it out the building, they weren't going to make it too far.
Well, they wasn't going to make it too far because they didn't release all the captives. Remember, they brought that one little white girl, and they brought 10 Mexican children. They wanted all the whites released. And according to the information the white girl gave, then there was 10 other white people. And the chiefs that was speaking on behalf of them said, hey, the other captives are with different bands and tribes. So we're sure they'll release them, but we're going to need some, before we release anybody else, we're going to need some other things. So since they didn't, the orders were either they release everybody or you take them captive. Right? That's what the instructions were. Hold them hostage until all the white people are released. Well, according to this story, the Indians started fighting to get out, and then the Texas militia and the civilians opened fire inside the building. And then while they were opening firing, women and children came in. The Comanche women and children came in and started firing on the Texans that were firing on the Indians, which I found a little strange. And then you got these Indians confined in the building, and everybody was able to just get out. And as they're running, as all of them are running, remember there's 33 of them. 33 total. How big is the doorway? See, people don't take something into consideration. How big is the doorway and how long it takes them to get out while all this commotion is going on? So they're running with their backs to the door, and they get out, and then all of a sudden then everybody starts taking pop shots at them. Nah, that's not what happened. What happened was they let them go, and then they opened fire on them after the fact.
Bingo. Who in their right mind gonna send their women and children out the door with a gunfire coming from?
Because again, you got to remember, this is being reported. This is news. This is stuff. Again, this is how people got their entertainment. Remember, only educated people at this time could read English. So these newspapers were going to the influencers and the people at that time. That was the reason why Texas was catching so much flack for what happened. And that was the reason why that story came out that girl had got raped and this is how this battle started. because she was raped repeatedly and she was a victim and she looked disfigured. Because they was getting a bad rap of what happened to the women and kids.
Like you said, remember, back then, that's how they moved word around through newspaper. So if they wanted to create a narrative, paint a picture, they used the newspapers. People didn't, it was harder to fact check back then. It's not like they could pull up their phone and type something in and vet it.
You ain't right, Bones.
Well, they can get a newspaper article saying, hey, you got Indians running around here grabbing women and children. Think about it. The majority of their population where that newspaper bought into that BS. Like Thomas said, if the Indians really, some of them can read, but they're not paying attention to that. You know what I'm saying? They live in their life and half of them too busy fighting to even think about wanting to read a newspaper.
Exactly.
So, I got a question.
Shoot, you loaded.
Huh?
I said, shoot, you loaded.
And maybe I didn't read right, or maybe I wasn't listening. Why is it significant? Like, I get from their perspective, okay, throwing a 16-year-old white girl, okay. But I missed it. The Texans were negotiating for the Mexican hostages too.
Yes, because you had some Mexicans that supported the Texans.
Well,
you got some of the same people on both sides. Put it like that.
Okay,
Some families
okay,
got split it up because some families supported one side, some did the other. People all over the place.
So they were negotiating for who was on their side.
Yep.
Okay.
because remember, the Comanche were looking to get more land. Remember, the first paragraph that we talked about, what we was reading earlier, was about how the Cherokee got kicked out after they got double crossed. The Comanche had always been on the outside looking in. So what they decided to do after the Comanche got kicked out, they was like, okay, so maybe there's some room for us. Maybe we can get some land. So we're going to negotiate on behalf of our tribe to get some land and create a border, because again, the Comanche were nomads. They were hunter-gatherers. They didn't believe in borders. They followed the buffalo, right? So if you follow the buffalo, you don't have territory lines. You just go where the hell you want. Well, with all these new settlers coming in and encroaching on their land, they will go somewhere, come back, and there'll be people there. So they're like, okay, well, if we can negotiate with these hostages, we can not only get land, but we can get supplies and we can get ammunition. So it was using these hostages that they captured as leverage. Well, the Texans was like, well, we already know how y'all do, because every time y'all negotiate with hostages, we give y'all concessions, and then y'all never give us the hostages. So this time, when you come to the Republic of Texas, representing what your cause is, if you don't release every white person that you have, we're going to hold y'all as hostage. Well, what happened was they only brought one white girl and 10 little Mexican kids. And that's how everything kicked off. Because they couldn't, the Indians, the chiefs there, remember, there was only one chief there trying to speak on behalf of 11 bands. So if there was at least 10 to 12 hostages and there's one hostage at each band, he can't negotiate for those other 11 tribes. He can only negotiate for his. And his thing was, look, these are people I got. Now, if you want those other people, you got to negotiate with those Indians, and this is what they're going to ask for. That's what he was saying.
I thought it was more chiefs that were in. Okay, maybe I might have.
You got sub chiefs of the same tribe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got sub chiefs of the same tribe, and they broke them up that way so that they wouldn't be intermarrying.
And also remember too, they're lumping all these people under one big umbrella name. In reality, these are still individual bands.
So does that help?
Yes, it does.
Cool beans. Peace, James Gilmore, Grand Rising, bro. He's on the website, checking in. Good to see you. Glad you caught that cab. So, now we're looking at the aftermath of the Council House fight, the Great Raid and Plum Creek. Hold on. Yeah, the Great Raid of Plum Creek. Pamela Hall says, my computer's about to die. No, revive it. Plug it up. Sorry. Okay, so it says the aftermath of the Council House fight, the Great Raid and Plum Creek. It says, as revenge for killing for 33 Comanche chiefs at the Council House fight, all but 3 of the remaining captives held by the Indians were executed slowly by torture. Wait, what? Okay, as revenge for killing of the 33 Comanche chiefs. So think about it. 33 of those Comanche chiefs that were under Chief Bowles were killed.
So does that mean that those chiefs represented 33 bands?
33 bands up under his rule. They didn't represent the other 11.
But they represented
they represented their own house or their own clan up under that band.
Okay, so Comanche is the umbrella. Comanche is the umbrella.
Comanche is a tribe, yes.
But the 33 chiefs represent the bands that were under the Comanche, right?
Right, because you got you have tribes, you have bands, you have clans, and there's another one that there is. I can't remember what. Oh, you got nations. And then you got confederations.
Yeah, so just like with the 3 federally recognized Cherokees. The Cherokee Nation is different from the other 2. But they all under the name Cherokee. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. Okay, I get it.
So you have the tribe, then you have the nation, then you have the band, and then you have the clan, or is it the clan or the band? I can't remember.
So Comanche is
the tribe.
Comanche is the tribe?
Yeah, there's a tribe. Comanche is a tribe of Comanche, yeah.
Comanche is the tribe, and the chiefs all represented bands underneath the tribe.
Or either underneath a clan. Again, I don't know how they broke theirs down because they are more patrilineal. Our ancestors were matrilineal. These are patrilineal chiefs, so I don't know how they broke theirs down.
Okay.
It seems like they had more chiefs in their setup than the matrilineals did in our setup. So we'd have to look up the breakdown of the Plains Indians as far as hierarchy. So I guess that'd be the best way to explain it. So if somebody could do that, that'd be very helpful. Plains Indian hierarchy, or what they call Plains Indian chain of command. It's like in the military, you have the army, you have a brigade, you have brigade, command, battalion, company. Company. I said no about squad, and then you have your you have your squads, and then you got your squad leaders. So basically, it's a chain of command how that works. So under the army, you got different brigades. Under different brigades, you got different battalions. Under different battalions, you got different commands. Under different commands, you got different companies. Under different companies, you got different squads. If that makes sense. But they all up under the army. So it'd be the same thing, similar to the way the patrilineal Plains Indians operate. I just don't know how their rank and file goes as far as the names. So, if you got any more questions, just let me know. I'll answer to the best of my ability.
Okay, I got a question.
Okay, what you got?
Okay, specifically, because I just pulled up some things. I have to look up
All you gotta do is look up Plains Indian hierarchy or Plains Indian chain of command. I guess that's the best way to look it up.
Okay, what I pulled up, what pulled up is basically saying that no chief had the power to command anyone unless they were able to directly communicate with the spirits. Spell hierarchy for me.
Man, you don't want me to spell it because I can tell you how I spell it. It won't be how it's spelled.
Hierarchy.
Joe 47, the Apache and the Comanche are your Plains Indians. They're not immigrant tribes. Now, they do have ancestry dealing with the Mongoloids and the Han and what is it, the Han dynasty? Or your Huns. That's where a lot of their ancestors come from. But they are not what you would be considered immigrant tribes. Well, Thomas, this was not really the beginning of the so-called Native Americans. The Native Americans got started back, 1700s? When the people that were native to the British colonies that were born here didn't have an allegiance to Britain, France, or Spain, they were allowed to be called Native Americans because they were born here. Yeah. So that's where your first Native Americans would come from.
Correct. And I posted the link in the chat for all those who was asking for the direct link to it on the website.
Okay,
Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
They were
matrilineal means led by women.
Yeah. It says they were matrilineal.
Well, okay, so that means this part lied because it said they were patrilineal. Maybe they turned patrilineal. I don't know. So, yeah, matrilineal means they were the council of women were the ones that chose the chiefs. Everything ran through that council of elders.
Okay, hold on, because now going further, it says it's patriarchal. Okay, they turned patriarchal when they had half-bloods, half-breeds.
That means people from Europeans, yeah.
Yeah, when they brought Europeans in, that's when it switched. And a lot of tribes, that's when it switched.
Yep.
You can kind of tell what tribes are under influence because the way the leadership went dramatically changed all of a sudden. It became about the men constantly in power. The voting went out the window and stuff.
Okay.
Joe 47, what do you need Bones to post again? Joe 47 is on the website, Bones, so whatever you post it. Joe, you don't need to post the information about the website on the website. You're on the website. Y'all funny. Bones just posted the information about the website on YouTube. And Joe 47 is on the website asking Bones to post it again. And maybe I am misreading what Joe 47 is posting, but it looks like he's asking Bones to post it on the website. But he might be asking Bones to post it in the chat for YouTube again. So, again, I could be wrong. But it just looks funny. Anyway. Alright, so where we at? So as revenge for killing of 33 Comanche chiefs at the council house fight, All but 3 of the remaining captives held by the Indians were executed slowly by torture. The 3 who were spared had been previously adopted into the tribe. Patatsu Wahipu, Buffalo Hump, wished to exact further revenge and gathered his own warriors and sent messengers to all bands of the Comanche. All the divisions of the bands and the Kiowa and Kiowa Apache, possibly all the most important and renowned Comanche chiefs, joined the raid. Pinataka Isaviha Yellow Wolf, Patsunaka Wahipu's cousin and fellow, the Kosoteka Wuliabu Shaved Head, if not Tawakwene Big Eagle or Sun Eagle, the Nokoni Whoopi Pahati Tall Tree, and his second chief, Quineva Eagle Drink or Drinking Eagle, and Kwadi Huhi Wikawasu. Ooh, Lord, Iron Jacket. The Yamparika, and then 10 Bears. I'm not pronouncing that because that's a lot of oohs in it. That's Pawuras Umu Nu. Say what?
You just quit.
Shop. Anyway, 10 Bears and many younger war chiefs at the Pinateka Tasawi, White Knife, Silver Knife, or Silver Brooch, and Nakoni Tuhuyakawi Wakawipu, aka Kiyu, horseback, gathering around 500 warriors and another 400 women and boys to provide comfort and do the work. Buffalo Hump took his gigantic war party and raided all the way from the Edwards Plateau to the sea, burning and looting Victoria and Linville, then the second biggest port in Texas. The Comanches gathered thousands of horses and mules and a fortune in goods from the Linville warehouses. The population of Linville prudently fled to the waters of the Gulf, where they watched helplessly while the Comanche looted the town and burned it. The Plum Creek near Lockhart, Texas, the Rangers and militia caught up to the Comanche. Several hundred militia under Andrew Caldwell and Ed Burleson, plus all Rangers companies and their Tanakwa allies who were Indians, engaged the war party in a huge running gun battle. As the Comanche tried to safeguard their loot and the militia tried to destroy the Indians, ironically, again, according to military historians, the same thing, greed that had driven the Comanche into being the preeminent warriors of the plains, now made them vulnerable. The Rangers and militia overran the Comanche, guarded their loot, and eventually, in a running gunfight, recovered several dozen captives held by Comanche, and eventually recovered mules and several $100,000 in bullion on them. Man, you can't fight way down.
When they say bullion, they're talking about gold bars.
Gold, I think more like gold coins or something like that.
Like weight?
What you mean, like weight?
Like when they're saying bullion, they're saying coins, like heavy, right?
I guess it would be heavy.
Okay.
Let's see. The remainder of the Lamar presidency was spent in daring but exhausting round of raids and rescue attempts, managing to recover several dozen more captives. Buffalo Hunt continued his war against the Texans, and Lamar hoped for another pitched battle to use his Rangers and militia to remove the Plains tribes. The Comanche, however, had learned from Plum Creek and had no intentions on ever massing again for the militia to use cannon and mass rifle fire on. Lamar spent an incredible $2.5 million against the Comanche in 1840 alone, more than the entire revenue of the Republic during Lamar's 2-year term. So that means they went into a hole. The Republic of Texas spent more money on the war against the Comanche than they brought in that 2-year term under Lamar. That's crazy.
So if I'm okay, so it says, and Lamar hoped for another pitched battle to use his Rangers. So basically, okay, so they went into a hole. They spent money on getting people, artillery, weapons, and stuff for another battle, right?
Hold on.
So you gotta realize this time the guns are a lot more robust now. They no longer need lighters or fire or flint to fire these rounds. So now you're dealing with Gatling guns, machine guns, and cannons. So now they could just mow down Indians. This ain't like the early 1800s when you was worried about your powder getting wet. They got some. You know, there's a new sheriff in town with a new gun. He itching to use it. But at what cost? Because it cost them $2 million to wage their war and get rid of them. And the Comanche was like, you know what? We didn't learn our lesson. So we're not coming at y'all like that no more. But he was hoping, he being Lamar, was hoping he'd be able to use that military because he had already paid for them. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yes. So basically, they spent the money because they lost. So they went and got bigger guns and more people, and they didn't get the fight that they were anticipating on getting.
Well, the fight that they got was the one that made the Comanche leave, and the Comanche had a lot of. Remember, the Comanche had raided, and they were, according to this story, the Comanche had been burning and looting all the way through the towns. They burnt and looted through 2 towns. What got them hemmed up was while they were fighting, they was trying to protect what they stole. So they had committed a lot of resources to protecting the captives and to protecting that loot. Had they just stuck to fighting, they probably would have won. Forget the people. You take care of business, you can go back and recoup your stuff. But they trying to, according to this, they trying to fight and save the loot. Man, anybody got time for that? Yeah, El Boria was saying those. Thomas Anderson says, yeah, the guns were made here in Connecticut, in New Haven. And El Boria says, Colt Firearms in Hartford.
Yep. Peace to all the Hartford relatives that's rising. What it do?
Yeah, hopefully it's warm over there where y'all at.
Nope.
Or at least comfortable. How about that? Is that better?
Nope. That's why I'm in the South.
I'm talking about the people in Connecticut. Gosh, boy. I know where you at. Now, shout out. What it do?
Huh. You said Burr? Yeah.
You back with us? You back with us? You back with us?
I'm back. I've been back.
But you ain't said nothing.
I want to interrupt you. You're on a roll.
Yeah, I never saw you before.
You're right.
That's funny. I went to school with a guy whose nickname was Butter. No, for real. That was his nickname.
Butter.
Light-skinned gentleman.
Parquet.
No, just Butter. Thomas Anderson says more than comfortable, I think.
I give y'all much respect. I'm not coming home to visit till it warm up. I see y'all in March sometime.
All right. So we'll save the second presidency for tomorrow, Wednesday. Bones, you wanna Pamela Hall says they making the Comanche look like they care more than the stuff that was stolen in the people. Well, of course, but again, they that's the way the story is told. You know, the story's got to make them look, you know, less than intelligent. So. So before we let these good people get on with their day, Gabby, got anything you want to say to people?
Yes. Peace and prosperity.
Peace and prosperity because because proof is not a problem, partner. Is that what you're saying? I'm just saying.
No, because I learned that telling someone have a blessed day is saying be less. So peace and prosperity.
Okay, that's what's up. That's all you got for the people? Peace and prosperity? Nothing else? Okay.
That's a lot. Prosperity is a lot.
Oh, stop yelling. Sorry.
You see how you do, Gabby? Trying to squeeze more out of you. Can't just be done.
Okay, I do. Okay. Well. Don't confuse me.
That's all you got. That's all you got. I'm cool with it. I just want to make
prosperity. I learned a new, well, not necessarily a new word, but a new meaning. So yeah, I got peace and prosperity to the panel, to the chat, everyone in the chat.
Okay.
Don't be less, be more.
Ah, I like that. Don't be less, be more.
Stick with me, kid. We going places.
Wow. All right, that's what's up.
Okay, I got a question.
Oh, really? Who in the chat put you up to it? Let me check the chat. Who in the chat put you up to ask a question? Let me see. Who did it?
You're trying to stretch it out.
What's your question, Gabby?
Okay, so being that basically everybody's on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is it safe to say that Texans are not just Europeans / colonizers, but also Indians? Is it Texans?
Yeah, Mexicans. They're Mexicans too.
Wait. So wait, does this mean that there were? Does this mean that there were Indians at the time who were taking positions who were, what's it called? Not conforming, but there were natives that were taking positions in the cities, in the towns that were being established.
When you say taking positions, what do you mean? Positions of power or leadership?
Or just anything. It could be like a sheriff or like a policeman or like I'm having a brain fart right now.
I mean, it's possible. We'd have to look at the history of it, but I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, I'm sure it's possible.
So everything, if I'm not everything, but most of what's going on in Texas is everybody on both sides?
I mean, yeah, that's safe to say. Again, like we always say, there are no one's innocent. Every tribe has been guilty at one point in time during these wars. Either at the beginning, at the middle, at the end, or throughout. So we're not saying that there is one blameless tribe. No tribe is blameless. But the thing about it is you got to find out who your tribe is, accept their responsibility, and move on and work towards something positive. So.
Oh, you're saying find out the truth and do better.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all you can do, right?
In that. I wasn't on that fence, but okay. I just want to make sure I was hearing you right.
Yeah.
I thought butterflies flew.
What?
Oh, I'm off mute.
Leonard, that ain't your cousin, no sellout.
No. Antonio typed, can a caterpillar fly? And I was thinking out loud, obviously off of mute, that butterfly, you know what?
Mm-hmm. We was here for it.
We ain't gonna tell nobody else.
Don't tell nobody else.
Yep. All right. So, no sellout to save your cousin. What you got for the good people today?
See, putting people on the spot. No, peace to the chat. Peace to the panel. Appreciate you all for holding it down. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, and/or corrections, please email us at autonomousAssembly@gmail.com. Check out the forum. Check out the global chat. 100% 24 hours, always there. Hit us up. Number on the top of the screen. All that jazz and R&B. Peace, y'all.
And for the record, I don't put people on the spot. They put themselves on the spot, and I just shine a light where they're at. So, hopefully that makes more sense to y'all.
No, there's no build up to it. It's yeah, you put people on the spot.
I don't put people on the spot. You put yourselves on the spot. I just shine a light where you at.
You say, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then call names.
Yeah, he the one with all the stuff in the back as soon as we go live. So Gabby had an idea. What kind of mess?
I know not of what you speak.
I'm in the middle of reading. You got something for everybody?
Yeah, not away, India.
Wait, what? I was still reading.
Well, all you gotta do is say, "No, I'm good." That's all. I mean, I don't want to leave you out.
Pressure.
Man, hush.
What's the PSI on that peer pressure?
What's the PSI?
All your friends are doing it.
Exactly.
What's a PSI?
They learned yesterday.
Look, PSI, pretty slick Indian. What's the PSI? Y'all know me. I'll make a little.
Comes up with all the petty stuff.
Look, I'll make an acronym in a minute. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Petty acronym.
Mm-hmm. Petty act. That's my new petty name. Petty act.
It's your turn. I'm going on mute.
Wait, is that right? That most civilized tribes were Mongoloids and whites? Is that
No.
That's the understanding, so to speak?
No.
Okay.
You have to put the word civilized in context. Civilized is just short for civilian.
Okay.
All they are civilians.
Okay.
All Indians since 1934 status has been changed to civilians. But we're going to break that down a little bit further. Probably try to come back in this week or see if we can do it this evening. Don't want to lock in the time until I know everybody's free so we can do it.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, these terms do have legal meanings at particular times. Even the term Native American. At this time, no, it does not apply to us. But ever since 1934, Native American does mean you legally. But like I said, we'll break that down.
Okay. I was looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
And how?
So can I go now? Can I get my salutation so we can get up out of here?
Yeah, you good. You can go ahead and salutate.
And then Oak Cliff talking about some really TMH. I don't know what y'all talking about. Dag nabbit. Grand Rising and peace to the new subscribers. We appreciate you. We appreciate the Toxinous Assembly Silent Majority on the website and on YouTube. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the best chat ever on the website and on YouTube. Thank you for coming out. Thank y'all for sharing this information. And remember, for those that want to have access to a call-in feature to the chat, we need 200 subscriptions. And it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, but a name and email. That's it. There is no cost, no PayPals, no what do you call it? Any of those other?
Log on to Patreon.
No Patreon, none of that. So it's free 99 to log in and to register. So, again, everything we do is about helping you find out who your people are, so you'll know who you are. So can't nobody tell you who you are, and then you can find out who your enemies are, and based off what they do now, find out and determine if they're still your enemies or they're your friends, or if they were your friends, if they're still your enemies. And be wary of the neutral people. Neutral means that if somebody's planning on doing something to you, they will not tell them. They will not tell you. They'll just let it happen, and then they act like they don't know what happened. So be wary of neutral people. So with that, I relinquish the mic and I turn over to Bones H. McCoy, and I am off the mic.
All right, peace. I'd like to thank everybody for the work that they put in on the panel, everything they do to make the show what it is every day. I'd like to thank the ones in the chat, the ones that's active on both the website and YouTube, and the ones that's just in the background listening, taking the info and applying it to their lives to make a better tomorrow. And we're going to leave off with this. Again, our future is in our hand, and our future is what we make it. Let's not take for granted the ability that we have, the things that we can accomplish when we come together, the things we have built, the things we are building, and the things that we will build. So let's make sure all this opportunity that we put our potential to it. So not only are we just getting together talking about what needs to change, we're getting together discussing it and moving forward, making change. So on that note, everyone continue to have a very, very blissful day. Be safe. Take some time out to do some genealogy, work with someone on theirs, talk to a neighbor, share to a friend of a friend. And until the next Rising Show, peace.
Peace, y'all. I just want to say, basically, you're doing a good job.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.